Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm the Book Geek, also known as Kiava, and this is everything I watched in March. Okay, so I'm gonna try and quickly go through some of these titles. I'm not going to stop and talk about each movie I watched. Before I get started, I do want to just let people know that these are all movies that were new to me. So I didn't write down movies that I've seen or TV shows that I've already seen. When I do my wrap-ups, I only talk about the things that I haven't seen before, the things that I watched for the first time, the things that were new to me. And starting out for the month of March is John Wick 2. Yes, this was my first time ever watching John Wick, the sequel anyway. And of course, most people know what John Wick is about. Very popular action flick. I gave it 5 stars. I also watched Sweetheart. This is a sci-fi horror film. This young girl washes up on shore. She is on a deserted island, but she quickly finds out that she is not alone. Every night, something comes ashore that is terrorizing her. I gave this one 4 stars. I also watched Battle Royale. This is a Japanese film. Students have been taken to some place and they are forced to battle one another, to fight one another until the death, until there is only one survivor left. It's one of those death game movies. Really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I also watched part 3 to All the Boys I've Loved Before. I believe that's the title, and it's called Always and Forever. This movie is based off the book of the same name. It's a very popular Netflix movie series. I'm not going to go into details about it. It's a romance, teen drama. I gave it 3 stars. I also watched Fire in the Sky. This movie is based on a true life story about a man's alien abduction. It recreates and recounts the story of a man who disappeared for 5 days and then magically returned. I remember seeing this story on Unsolved Mysteries and it freaked me out. And the movie was pretty good. I gave it 3 stars. I also watched Escape Room. This is another popular horror film that has been released within, I don't know, the last year or 2. They just recently made a sequel. Basically, we all know what escape rooms are about. You go into this game, this escape room, and you have to follow clues and whatnot to win the game and get released from the room. Except these rooms are deadly. It was very entertaining. I gave it 4 stars. I also watched a movie titled No Escape Room. I believe I found this one on Netflix. This was a poor imitation compared to the escape room that I just talked about previously. I gave this one 1 star. I also watched a movie called Apartment 1303. I believe I also saw this one on Netflix. This movie was terrible. This movie was so bad. I can't even remember everything that happened in the movie, but I remember how it made me feel while I was watching it. I gave this one 1 star. Did they pull these people off the street to come act in this film? Actually, I think if they pulled people off the street to act in this film, it might have been better. The acting in this was terrible. I hated this fucking movie. It's a horror film. Don't bother watching it. Just don't. It's terrible. In this movie, this girl moves into this apartment. She seems very naive and strange things start happening in the apartment. The movie fucking sucks, okay? I also watched I See You. This one is starring Helen Hunt. I thought this movie was very decent. Talk about a film that has multiple plot twists. This one did. I thought I had things figured out and I didn't. It is a drama/horror film. Strange things are happening in this detective's home. And then we have these other teenagers who are connected to the strange things occurring in the house and also connected to the detective. It was really trippy. I very much enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I also watched The Lie. This is a mystery drama. I really liked this film. I gave it 5 stars. It's starring Joey King. I think that's her name. In this film, a father and daughter, they're on their way. They're driving in a car on their way someplace, and they see the girl's friend along the road. They stop to give her a ride, and this is where all the craziness begins. How do I explain this movie without giving away the plot twist? I don't think I can. But what I can say is that from then, there is a chain reaction of events that result in terrible consequences. And it was things that could have been avoided. I believe this story has a very good message, and the title is very much suited well for this movie and the message that it is surrounding and trying to get over on its audience, The Lie. Okay, I would definitely recommend watching this one. Very good movie. This next film was so trippy. It is titled Vivarium. I love this movie, and I'm looking here at my notes and I'm trying to figure out, why did I give this movie 4 stars? I can't remember, because I remember loving this film. In this movie, we start off with this young couple. They are looking for a home, and you know, they go visit this home in this neighborhood, and once they enter, they can't leave. It is a mystery horror film. I absolutely adore this movie. I love this movie. You know, they're looking for this perfect home, and they get everything they ever wanted, but at a cost. And then it becomes everything that they despise. I love this film. This movie was magnificent. The cinematography, the design of this, just a wonderful film. I recommend everybody watch this. If you like horror movies, if you like trippy type movies, watch this. I can't recommend this one enough. I've seen some people review this movie and call it boring. It's definitely not a fast-paced film. If that's what you're into, it's more of a psychological horror. I also watched The Silencing. This is a crime thriller, another great movie with a great plot twist. I gave this movie 4 stars. I also watched Underwater. This is an underwater horror sci-fi film, and I gave this one 4 stars. I also watched Black Christmas, the 2019 version, 1 star. Don't waste your time with this film. This movie sucks ass. It takes everything, all the lore and horror and greatness from the original movie, and totally takes a crap on it. I mean, I get what they were going for in this film, I guess. Badass women fighting against the evil men. Yeah, take down the patriarchy. I get it. I get it. Okay? It still sucked ass. This movie was terrible. I didn't like it. Why was it called Black Christmas? Did they try to reel people in by calling it Black Christmas? Got people thinking it's going to be a remake of the original, or even the remake of the remake. And it wasn't that at all. It was a completely different plot line. This movie wasn't good. In this movie, we have a group of female students, college students. They are being terrorized, and they decide they're going to fight back. Right on, sisters. Except it was whack as fuck. This next one I thought was pretty decent. It's titled Cold Skin. I gave it 3 stars. In this movie, a young man comes to this island. He's come there for a job, but he discovers that there are creatures on this island, and he finds himself having to defend himself against these creatures. It is a horror sci-fi film. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the greatest film ever, but definitely worth a watch. I also watched Hell House. This is a found footage horror film. Love this movie. I gave it 5 stars. In this movie, we have this group of people. They have set out to find the perfect location to make into a haunted house attraction, except this motherfucking house is really haunted, and some terribly haunting things start happening to them while they are staying here trying to get this whole place ready for Halloween and whatnot. And it was so good. I really, really enjoyed it. All right, damn it. We've gotten down to the last movie that I want to talk to you about. And I always save my favorite movie of the month for last. And that movie is Joker. I thought this movie was phenomenal. This is a much darker version of the Joker that we are used to seeing. We follow Arthur into his descent into madness, and it is fucking beautiful. I know that's such a strange word to use for somebody that's, you know, mentally falling into despair and mentally ill and mentally going mad, but the movie was just so beautiful. The cinematography, the way they shot this movie, the music. I can't brag about this movie enough. I found myself becoming emotionally attached to this character before and after his transformation into the Joker. That's how powerful this film was. I loved it. I thought it was magnificent. It was so good. Of course, I gave it 5 stars. Now on to the TV shows. So I watched Sharp Objects. I believe this one is on HBO. It is based off of the book of the same name that was written by Gillian. Is it Gillian or Gillian? I believe it's Gillian Flynn. She is also the author of Gone Girl. I enjoyed the book much more than I enjoyed the series. This woman, she's a writer or reporter or something like that. She comes back to her hometown to cover the story of some missing girls, some murders that are happening in her hometown. And she's far more connected to this story than she realizes. I gave it 3 stars. I also watched and finished the entire first season of Room 104. This is an anthology series. Every episode is a new story, but each episode takes place in the same motel room, Room 104. So, of course, some episodes are going to be greater than others and have stronger writing than others. But overall, I really enjoyed this. I gave that first season 3 stars. And lastly, I watched the final season for Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I was not feeling this final season as much as some of the previous ones. I honestly can't even tell you what this final season was about. It just wasn't as memorable as some of the previous seasons. I didn't like the way that the story wrapped up. I was not feeling this ending at all. I gave it 3 stars. And so that is it for the month of March. That is everything I watched in March. If you want to see more things about the types of movies I like to watch, you can hit my Letterboxd link down below in the description box. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.